ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Before I speak in English, for all those that are here, I'd like to also say a few words in Punjabi before I start my speech. मैं आप सारे संगत ਦਾ ਬੜਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਆਪਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਕੈਲੀਫੋਰਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਹਰ ਹਲਕੇ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਦਿੱਤਾ. ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ 1989 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਨਗਰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਵਕਤ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਕੌਂਸਲੇਟ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਕੁਝ 10 ਮੀਲ 'ਤੇ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਲਾਇਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਥੇ ਨਗਰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣਾ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਨਗਰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਹੋਇਆ. ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹ ਬਦਲੇ, ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਉੱਠੇ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ 10 ਫੁੱਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਹਾਂ. ਸੋ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਆਪ ਸਾਰੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਹੈ. Today we gather here to celebrate the triumph of truth, justice, and equality over tyranny and terrorism. Time and time again, over this course of history, enlightened souls have stood steadfast in the face of unjust powers. Their stance has always been to give life to those that have sparked the freedom and love of humanity at the forefront of their consciousness. On June 1606, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the 5th Guru of the Sikhs, on the path of truth and righteousness, preaching the message of love, challenged the oppressive empire of Jahangir. Given the choice between life and death, he chose death. Death that would ignite the passion for freedom in his Sikhs that continue to show the strength for over and over, almost 4 centuries later. As you know, iron must be forged in red-hot flames. Guruji sat peacefully on hot iron plate while a raging fire burnt underneath. As Jahangir ordered, hot sand poured to be over his head. Guru Hargobind, the 6th Guru, took his predecessor's resolve and sharpened the steel into the blades of Miri and Piri, worldly power and spiritual power. He raised the army and vowed that the Sikhs world over always will stand against injustices regardless of cost. And the 10th Master took this resolve and formed the Khalsa. The Sikhs world over have proven their commitment to these centuries-old orders borne out by their Gurus. Those in attendance here today lay their claim to a bloodline that fought and drove out invaders that threw out the spirituality of Islam aside and adopted the polluted version of Islam akin to the ones we see plaguing cities all over the world today. Hari Singh Nalwa, outnumbered in unknown terrain, took over parts of Afghanistan, sealing and protecting the borders of India from the tyrants that were set on rape and plunder. The 21 Sikhs of Saragadi gave their lives down to the last man. The Sikhs fought side by side with the Allied forces in World War I and in World War II in the deserts of Africa and the streets of France. They fought for freedom, never losing hope, but happily fighting to stop the evil that was trying to change the face of this world. An evil that was responsible for the genocide of 6 million innocent Jews. The Sikhs fought shoulder to see an end to this genocide. When it came for India to fight for its own independence, they never shied away. Making less than 2% of the Indian population, they made up 80+% of the freedom movement. Even when the country split Punjab, the land of the Sikhs, into two, causing history's bloodiest migration, the Sikhs stood loyal to the nation of India. By definition, Sikhs are a unique people. By definition, Sikhs are a unique people. By tradition, Sikhs are a separate and unique people. By practice and action, Sikhs are a separate people. But more than anything else, by equality of thought, Sikhs are a separate people. Which community can boast of their Guru or their Messiah who died for another man's faith? Which community can say that their brothers, just 5 years old and 7 years old, simultaneously refused to convert to another man's faith, yet protected the other man's faith? Which community can say that it includes Muslims and Hindus and those that deemed under the Hindu caste system as untouchables in their Guru, as it is in our beloved Guru Granth Sahib. With all these accolades, setting the Sikhs apart, the Sikhs have always maintained that they're like the Supreme Being, Akal Purkh, Vaheguru, we are nirvair, without enmity towards anyone. These traits are useful for a formation of a nation and its rise to power. For the Indian government, it became a nuisance when the Sikhs, by the way of Akali Dal, challenged the illegally elected government of Indira Gandhi. Her battle with truth and democracy from 1966 until her conviction in 1975, which resulted in her removal from power, should have been a triumph for the Indian people who have been systematically suppressed since independence. But Indira Gandhi responded by refusing to step down, despite orders from the nation's Supreme Court. Instead, she initiated President's rule and draconian laws, censoring press, allowed for detention and arrest of political opponents, while leaders like the current Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, hid in disguise and escaped into the night. It was the Sikhs who marched through the streets of India opposing her illegal rule and suspension of democratic rights, not only of the Sikhs, but all Indians. The government responded by, however, fabricating situation to initiate clashes against the Sikhs. The goal was, and continues to be, paint the Sikhs as violent separatists, committed to disrupting the peace of the nation. Contrary to the notion the Sikhs' demand was an unperturbed resolution, a resolution that both in spirit and letter mirrored the U.S. federalized system in which state and political and economic power went autonomy to the states. Something particularly more important in a nation such as India, that is unified more by proximity than anything else. The violent clashes throughout India caused the death and arrest of thousands of Sikhs. Until 1606, before the martyrdom of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the Sikh nation enjoyed a peaceful existence. But Guruji's martyrdom caused the awakening of the sixth Guru. And the sixth Guru adorned the two swords, Miri and Piri, one of worldly power, the other spiritual power. Spirituality instills in us, a nation, the virtues that are needed for freedom to last, as John Adams states. The only foundation of a free constitution is pure virtue. And if this cannot be inspired into our people in a great measure, then we have it now. They may change their rulers and the forms of government, but they will not obtain a lasting liberty. Guru Hargobind understood this a century earlier. He described how to balance one another and created the concept of spirituality cannot be free until the ruler is just. Without spirituality, all will be oppressed. He raised the first Sikh army and constructed the throne of the eternal, the Akal Takht. The throne sat 10 feet higher than that of the oppressor of the time. It was a physical reminder to all that came that the Sikhs answered to only to one highest power, the ultimate power, the truth, Sat Sri Akal. It was from this Akal Takht that Sardar Jarnail Singh Pindrawale awoke a nation from its slumber and prepared it for battle. A battle that still rages today between truth and tyranny. The inequities he talked about 33 years are still in place, even further ingrained in India. In India, law and order is still for the political convenience of the elite, not for the masses. The basic human rights and freedoms are being crushed every day, be it be the Muslims in Kashmir speaking out for freedom, or the Sikhs in Punjab wanting to feel the glow of freedom, or the rights of Christians who want to simply practice their faith in peace, or the plight of poor Dalits in villages all across India where they live no better than slaves to the rich landlords. If they speak out, they are beaten, tortured, and their women raped, and men hung from the nearest mango tree. Sadly, even some of our own people have started to accept the lies, truth it is because to accept captors' lies easier than to fight for your own truth. A Sikh is still not considered a Sikh within India, regardless of his contribution, achievements, and everything that sets us apart. Punjab, that was once the breadbasket of India, has systematically been drained of all of its waters against all international riparian conventions. Punjab is divided into 138 blocks, of which 111 of these blocks are all but dry from its underground water. Punjab is fast becoming an arid state. Sikh youth have been killed off by either faith encounters, by the police, or by the slow death of addiction propagated by the government of Badal, the stooge of central government. The leadership of likes of the Badal and Marinder have sold out to the slaves for another day. However, 33 years ago today, Sant Binarwale and a small number of his Singhs refused to follow any path but the path of the Guru. Like the Sangat gathered here today under this hot sun 33 years ago, today that same Sangat was gathered at a cool, soothing Sarovar in Amritsar to remember the fifth Guru's, his sacrifice in the lesson it bore. The tension in the state was high, but this was no deterrent to the faithful. In the thousands they came to pay respect, prayer on their lips, and innocence in their hearts. Once a crowd has amassed, the army surrounded the city and trapped the worshippers inside. That army descended on their own citizens in the tens and thousands. They came out with automatic machine guns, mortar, armed vehicles, and tanks. They came with helicopters. Indira Gandhi had asked S.K. Sinha, the Vice Chief of India, who was to succeed as Chief of the Indian Army, to prepare for an attack. And this was done 2 years prior to 1984. He refused and argued against any attack as being sacrilegious and according to Sikh religion and against its traditions. He suggested that the government adopt an alternative plan. Instead, Indira Gandhi made the controversial decision to replace him with an obedient officer, an obedient assistant, and obtained assistance from the British Armed Forces to plan the attack. In the 2 years that followed, while this plan was being planned, there was no arrest warrants drafted for or issued for Bindarwale. There was no warrant issued for or drafted for any of his followers. There was no indication that he was under suspect or subject of any investigation. There was no request for him to vacate the premises of the Golden Temple. Where India works on a daily basis to arrest and torture those that dare to tell the truth, Sikhs continue to strive for justice by remembering those that gave their lives for it. Jina Singha Singhaniyan ne dharm he sees dite. Those that have served humanity without losing faith. Dharm nahi harya, Sikhi Sikh, Siddh ke saath savasa samaya. Sikhi the world over end their prayer each day by laying their head on the ground before their Guru, their neck exposed, offering their life in service, where they ask for the understanding and acceptance of Tere Pane, God's will, Sarbat da Pala, goodwill to all mankind. These Kesri Nishans are a beacon. They call out to everyone that under this flag resides truth. Under this flag, there is a nation of people ready to travel to far-off places to serve the world, feed the hungry, offer safe haven to those who are less fortunate and needy, and stand in solidarity with all those that demand to breathe the freedom and independence. For we Sikhs understand this, that independence itself must be independent of all encumbrances, free from all fear. It is the one thing that ties man to his God. I'll repeat that. Independence itself must be independent of all encumbrances, free from any fear. It is the one thing that ties man to his God. So it is then that under this flag there is freedom, love for humanity, that sees no barrier, where all are welcome. Manas ki jaat ek hi pashan wo. We recognize all human race as one brotherhood. In remembrance of our Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and also in memory of those that gave their lives 33 years ago in this movement forward, I ask that you remember that the Kesri, the star or the Kesri chunis on your heads that you wear here today is a crown. It is a reminder that you yourself are Khalsa Raj. Each and every one of you is independent. Each and every one of you is compelled to live life only by your Guru's hukam, by your Guru's message of truth and justice, and as free men and women. It is the mindset that those that try to break the movement fear it most. It is the mindset that we must teach our children. It is the mindset that we must maintain in our lives, in dealing with one another as we contact with one another. When we have prem or love, we have miri. When we have piri. When there is a thirst for justice, we have miri. then the only thing that will remain is Khalsa Raj. Our voice of freedom will not be snuffed. Our call for justice will not be silenced. We will be echoed by they will be echoed by us, then our children, then our children's children. For no matter how many bodyguard of lies they put forward, we will speak the truth. No matter how many of us they put down, there will be more of us standing in line. For the fire of justice is lit and it cannot be put down by falsehood. I leave you today with these words from the 10th Master, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Words he wrote to Jahangir's grandson, Emperor Aurangzeb, in the Zafarnama, the Epistle of Victory. Che marde ka akhagar khamoshan kuni, che mardi ka akhagar khamoshan kuni, ki atish daman ra frozen kuni. In snuffing out sparks, what bravery have you shown? In snuffing out sparks, what bravery have you shown? By this big fires into configurations shall be blown. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.